dudes are becoming that dudes are softer. They are softer now. Men are shifting, have shifted, and are continuing to shift their way of doing things. And I don't think it's, well, let me not say that, okay? Um, I like, at least let me not start with that. But the thing is, I, for one, being a dude, um, having had my parents and having seen growing up uh, friends that their parents were a certain way, I definitely had parents that were harder. Well, not me. I definitely had friends who had parents that were harder on them than let me see, than my parents were on me. From my side, there were definitely certain things that were not cool. That I didn't think they were cool. I mean, getting beat and stuff like that, right? But I got that more from my mother's side. Not, it's funny, not even from my dad's side, right? My dad was a little more trying to be the talking kind and that kind of stuff. But from friends I saw, I mean, the majority of parents were like I'm gonna teach you some, and I hope that smacking you gives you the understanding so that you don't do again what you just did. Like that was their way of teaching their kids, my friends. Um, it's like, why do you have to do this? Or why do, when a parent tells you, hey, go do that, and you're like, why do I have to do it? Because I said so. It just leaves that child without any understanding, right? So, but why am I talking about this? I think it's because even me myself, um I'm soft. I feel like I'm soft as a dude. I feel like I'm part of the generation that has gotten softer. I've always tried to do things in a different way than trying to like tell my or beat my kids, or like I don't hit my kids. I don't do that. So I've definitely become even softer in other ways where it's like I might punish my kids, but I feel I feel so bad sometimes about punishing them. And sometimes it's hard for me to hold my ground on particular things because I feel for them and I want them to be to be joyful or to enjoy things. So I then go soft and I cut down the punishment or whatnot, right? So from certain standpoints, I really do believe that I have become softer. I've become soft. And now I'm trying to do things differently. I mean, I'm still I'm still not hitting my kids, okay? I'm still not gonna like I'm not gonna treat my kids in certain ways that are um, demeaning to them. But I'll tell you something. I feel that respect to the parents was given a lot easier before, even though parents treated their kids worse. Like the parents might still be providing. Like they back then they probably still, if you had a good dad, good mom, right? They're, or not even good mom or good dad, because just providing for the family doesn't make you good. But if you had the kind of parent that would at least provide, hey, what's up, Charlie? If you had the kind of parents that would at least provide, then you're getting some care, right? But back then, it's like they would provide, but they might have treated you like crap, or they might have beat you in certain ways, and yet there was more respect for them. Nowadays, even because of legal situations here in the United States, uh, parents don't really hit their kids like that. I mean, some still do, but if the child was to go to the police and say, "Hey, they're beating me and stuff," then you might get you might even be taken to court, and they might even end up talking about taking away your kids. So there's like this defense system built for the kids, but because of certain things, now if parents just teach their kids just by words, I don't know why. Well, maybe I do know why. It's like history. Like over time, obviously we build different ways of doing things, or we start doing things in a different way. I feel that kids nowadays don't fully understand or appreciate what the parents really do as parents. I have a difficult time right now with certain things because I feel that I don't feel that I'm a bad father, and if anything, I feel that I deserve respect. But the reality is that I feel pretty disrespected sometimes, even though I I feel that I'm more disrespected than parents were disrespected back then, even though I do things a lot better than parents back then. I do things I'd like to think that I do things better than my parents did. And yet I get less respect than what how I respected my parents. Now, I always questioned with my parents, like, I'm not gonna respect you just because you're my dad. I'm not gonna respect you just because you're my mom. Respect is earned. But nowadays, even though you are essentially earning respect because you're being kind with your kids, you're providing for them, you're giving them everything they need, right? And on top of that, you're not an asshole to them. They still don't find this need to respect you. It's like it's unseen. It's really a father or a mother, parents. I feel that they're not looked at under the right light nowadays. They are looked at under the telescope of um I can't do anything because you just don't let me do anything, or you're mean because you don't let me play, like that kind of stuff. But they don't see what the father, what the mother, what that implies. And look, it doesn't imply that they will do that. But if you have a father or a mother that is doing good, excuse me, it should be seen. Like, don't just look at when I correct you, but also look at when I do things well, when I do things right, when I do, when how I actually don't call you certain things like this, or how I don't mistreat you in these ways. So, but it's like this quick to for kids nowadays to literally throw parents under this criteria of you're bad, you're a bad parent because of this. When if I was to just be slightly, like a little bit how certain traditional parents were, I think my kids would just go wild. I think they would probably go nuts because they'd be like, wow, you're actually turning really mean. you know? But then if that would be mean, why can't you appreciate what I'm doing now? Why can't you appreciate what I'm doing now? And dudes are becoming softer, like not just in parenting, but even in relationships, even in relationships, dudes are becoming softer. They are becoming softer. Now, with my kids, I'm having a situation where it's hard because I'm trying to be harder. I'm not trying to be mean. There's a difference between being harder and being rude, being mean. But I'm trying to hold my ground on particular things so that they see, okay, when my dad says something, he really means it. But it's not like I gotta listen to him just because he's my dad. Like, I will tell them why I'm saying what I'm saying and why I want them to do this. Like, it's not just like do it because I said so. But they know now that if, for example, they mess up on certain things, I will not allow this disrespect to continue. And I'm not going to do that by smacking you. I'm not going to do that by being that kind of way. I will simply do it by holding my ground as a father and demanding my respect, demanding it. Here's why demanding it, okay? Because I've already done the work to earn it. That's the thing. So you don't demand respect. I understand that. You don't demand respect. You earn it. But there's a lot of parents nowadays. There's a lot of dudes that they are a certain way, which could be considered already earning, like a way of earning the respect. Yet the respect is not there. So at that point, knowing that you've done the work to earn the respect and the other person continues to not respect you, you can actually start to demand that. You can, especially from your kids, right? Because you're gonna, from your kids, you're like if you're doing it with a friend, like, hey, respect me and this and that, and you've been kind to them, you can actually demand respect from them. But whether they give it or not, um, I guess it doesn't matter because you can just walk away from that friend if that friend is going to choose to not respect you. But from a child, from your child, right? You're not going to just walk away because he's disrespecting you. Like, you're going to try to work with it in a certain way. So, to a certain extent, it'll be necessary for you to not just talk to your child and say this, but actually hold your ground and demand that respect. Demand it, really demand it, and keep demanding it until it's given. And there's certain things that I'm doing before. Look, I'll tell you this, okay? And this is how I know I was soft. This is how I know. Well, I'm still soft. I'm still soft, but I'm trying to moderate myself so that I I I continue doing things the way I'm doing them, but at the same time be more strict, um, be more, how do you say it? Like, be more determined with the things that I am doing as a father that I want my kids to see that I am doing, right? Be more like, okay, I'm gonna talk to them. I'm gonna tell you the why, and if you choose to not do this and that, there are consequences, right? And these are the kinds of consequences that would happen, and you're gonna have to start changing something if you want things to change, because you cannot continue to. Here's one thing: we know that in this world, the way you behave with someone else affects the other person, therefore making the other person less likely to be kind to you, or less likely to, like with kids, like, you don't just smack a boy and then ask them for if you can use their toy, and then they'll be like, yeah, here, it's okay, you can grab my toy. No, that kid is most likely going to say, I'm not going to let you use my toy, you just hit me, that's not kind. Okay, so with my children, with my kids, I'm trying to explain to them how the way you behave, even with your father, you need to understand that you can't behave with your father in such a way where you are disrespectful to your father, to your mother, and then, like, in the flip of like 5 seconds, you realize that you're gonna need from that person. Then it becomes even freaking weird to come and ask that person for something after you were so rude or disrespectful to them. The, Even with my kids, sometimes I see that where it's like they behave a certain way sometimes, and then it's like, kind of, they come and they might ask me for something, and sometimes they won't even want to ask me because guess what, you just did this kind of stuff, you just said all this stuff about me, and all of a sudden now you realize you need me. So maybe you shouldn't treat the person that you need, that is giving you your needs, with such disrespect. You should think a little bit more about how you're going to behave with someone, especially if you know you want to hold a good relationship with that person. Okay? Even with friends it's like that. You don't just behave a certain way and expect that those friends are gonna stick around the whole time. No, it doesn't work that way. So I'm trying to tell my kids, trying to tell them that respect is earned. Respect is a thing that should be mutual. Okay, and I don't tell them respect me just because I give. Like, you have a house because of me, you have food because of me, so you should respect me. I could not demand my respect. If I provide and I do that, sure, but I'm an asshole to my kids, I could not demand respect from them. You can only do that if you know you're holding a pretty straight line yourself. You got to do that yourself. My mom went through a hard childhood, so she said that she is giving us the childhood that she didn't have, and we always respect her. We make her breakfast, and I make her coffee or tea in the morning. That's beautiful, Charlie. That's awesome. That's awesome. It sounds like you have a very nice relationship with your mother, and that's awesome. That's great. I think it's awesome when families work out that way. Unfortunately, my family didn't work out that way. Uh, it, I mean, I laugh, but it's crazy. It didn't work out that way, but it was, if anything, it's been very complicated with my family, to be honest. But if anything, it's taught me a thing or two about how I don't want to be. But it's awesome, yeah. And look, I think a lot of parents will say that, and this is not to devalue what your mom said for you guys. Maybe the reason why you guys are with your mom that way is because your mom said that to you. She was giving you guys the best childhood that she could, because she didn't have it, right? She didn't have one. And maybe in the behavior that you see from your mom, you can confirm that what she's saying is true, right? In my case, I mean, I did hear a similar thing. I think it's a lot of, it's what maybe every parent might say that, unless that parent left when that child was a baby, then you didn't get to hear it. You didn't get to hear your dad or your mom say that. But I think most parents will say that, but then a lot of the times their actions don't really show that. Like, their actions might show that they're literally behaving in the same way that they were treated, right? And so it's like a contradiction there, you know. So, but maybe you go and you make her breakfast, and you make her coffee or tea in the morning or whatnot, or like, maybe you do that because you actually saw the correlation with her words and her actions. And that's where it's awesome. Because it's not just about talking, it's not just about promising something, it's not just about saying these things. Like, the actions will reflect. The actions will reflect. I mean, if one day I'll tell my story, with what's happened. But for me, it was more like, I heard certain things from my mother's side, but the reality was that the actions showed something completely different, you know. But back to the topic, I really do feel that dudes have become softer. They have become softer. I have become softer. I mean, I'm a witness. I'm not a witness. I'm a I'm an example. I'm an example of somebody that has become or made soft by just the way things are nowadays. Maybe it's interesting because of that. What is that saying? The one that says, um, "Hard times build strong men. Soft times." Oh, no. Okay, okay. Hard times build strong men. Strong men build soft times. Soft, soft times build weak people. Weak people build hard, create hard times, and those hard times will build strong people. Those strong people, and like the cycle will continue. But it's interesting when you see that in reality, that cycle has played out a good bit in society. Like when things are tough, people strap up their boots and they get shit done. When things are soft, everyone becomes weak and they don't want to do anything. It's true. It is true. So maybe we're in a situation where because things have changed to a certain extent, uh, we are in times that because we don't have to do everything that we did before, men also have built a softer character, not a sort of kind of character like rough, but more of a can we talk about it? Can we, that kind of stuff. Maybe less people. Um, it's just things have changed a lot. Things have changed so much. One time, I I was I was uh I was at the store. I was at the dispensary, right? And they have these screens, and they were playing a movie that was in black and white, and I could only read the subtitles, but I was reading the subtitles, and it was a dude. It was a dad talking to his son, and his son was already grown too. But it seemed like they were in a ranch or something like that. This scene was pretty interesting because so the son and the dad were having like a conversation or something like that. But the the son like had this conflict or something like that where he was like sort of disagreeing with something or just wasn't with something. I can't remember exactly, but the father kind of just put him in line kind of shit. He just put him in line. He said something, and he slapped him, and he said something, and then the son actually just listens to the dad, agrees with the dad, and then goes on and does what he needed to do. Like the son didn't say, "Oh, you did that to me. Well then, fuck you," and that that's um that's you. But you know what? This is me, and boom. There was like this sort of respect, and this is what I'm talking about. Parents could have done that shit before, and they would still get more respect. When parents now try to do things right, their kids disrespect them even more. And maybe those movies, like I'm not saying I agree with doing that way of things, okay? But that movie showed that like a point in history of how things were. And if you go back and you look at some of the content that was produced back then, they even have things where it's like shows where they try to input into a particular child that that child should not behave that way. And why? Because of this and because of that. And it was pertaining to the times that they lived in, where it's like if you're a girl, there are certain things that you couldn't do because you're a girl, and it's like sort of it's looked at in the wrong ways if you are a woman and you're doing that. And so if you were a little girl in the show and you have a dad in that show, that dad would probably teach that little girl certain things in those ways so that the viewers and the children, they grow with this idea of that is the way you do things in society. That is insane to think about, but is the reality. It's what they actually did. And if you go back, you can find so many movies, so many shows where they actually did this. And in that movie, it was that because I mean, tell me right now, as like in a situation where if you are a grown kid and if you're a dad and you have a child that well is your child, but he's already maybe like 20, maybe like 25 or whatever, but you guys live together, and there's still this idea that I'm your father and you're not going to disrespect me. No matter what, you ain't going to disrespect me, okay? You will respect me. And then the father, something's happening with the father and the son. The father slaps him, slaps the son, and that the son will just take that and listen. And even though the son just got smacked, that he will be in his head about, but this is my father and I have to respect him. That ain't flying nowhere. No, no, no. I mean, maybe in some place in the world that I don't know about, but I really don't see that flying anywhere now, where like the kids will have respect for their parents just because, even though parents be like that. I don't see it. I don't see it anymore. I don't see it. So it's like it doesn't work that way, and we understand now because now we understand that respect is not something that you just give to someone just because they are something to you, but respect is something that is earned, something that you earn, right? We understand that now. So with that understanding, though, what comes? Since I understand that, and I didn't want to be treated in certain ways when I was a child, right? No, I understand that too. But if anything, I have needed to find different ways to get my respect, because just being kind doesn't get you respect. Being kind does not get you respect. Just being kind doesn't give you respect. Some people will give you respect, but when it comes to parenting, believe it, uh-uh, just being nice is not gonna give you. It's not gonna make your kids respect you. You know. So you have to find different ways to gain this respect, right? And that's where I'm at right now. That's where I'm at right now. I'm starting to do things a little bit differently with my kids, and I'm not mistreating them, but with the kindness or with the softness that I have, because look, dudes are becoming soft, and I'm only an example of that. But I don't think that being soft is a bad thing. I think being soft only is what's not so beneficial. It's not so um, you don't get good results from just being soft. You have to have some kind of moderation where there's certain things that you definitely gotta hold your ground on. You gotta make sure that um, if you say something, you don't back out from it. Like if you're gonna apply a particular punishment or something like that, and it's held for a week, that you don't cut it off 2 days in, you know, or just things like that. And I mean, it's probably gonna be different with in your situations. If you guys have kids, it'll be different for you dealing with it, right? You're not gonna be taken advantage of, even though you are you you're not you're not gonna hit them, that you show them that they can't talk to you and run their mouth like call you and insult you or say all these types of things. Because I mean, back like if it was like before, getting if you started saying all these things to your parents, what you would get is smacked in the mouth. Like, that was the idea. If you're grabbing something that you're not supposed to grab, it's like, come here. I mean, ven pa acá. That's what. Come over here, and boom on the hand, smack it or whatnot, right? And it's not like, and you'll be like, oh, no, that's not what it was. It's like, boom. There's a game in Spanish that they call manitas calientes. It's like Manitas Calientes. Is that the one? I mean, there was one that I would play before when I was a kid, that like you would put hands on top, and then like the bottom hand would come here and then the other hand like that. But you'd play it with friends, right? You put your hands like that, and like the bottom comes and boom, you smack it down. At the end of the game, your these parts would be red. It was probably a smack more like that one. If you're grabbing something or touching something that you're not supposed to touch. Now, if you were running your mouth, it's like boom. Shut up. You ain't gonna talk to me like that. You're gonna respect me. So it's finding ways to gain that respect, but without hitting them. And it's hard. It is hard. I get it. I'm in that situation right now. But I think now that I'm trying to do things differently, maybe because I'm gonna show that I I can't just get walked all over, even though I'm this way, even though I don't do certain things that you know could maybe or maybe not help them snap out of it and say, oh, I guess I do have to respect them. Um, it's just it's tough nowadays with the kind of society that we live in. But the idea is to get across to them in some way that you as a father should be respected. Again, you can't be an asshole and then ask for respect. But if you do things right, if you know you're holding yourself accountable for how you are and that kind of stuff, and you know you're the kind of father that you don't need respect because you just provide, but you do provide and you do give everything that is needed in the house or whatnot. You do that, but on top of that, on top of the fact that you give all that and you provide all that, you're also not an asshole to your kids or to someone else. If you know that, then you can demand respect and you can say the why. You deserve to be respected. And the reason is because I'm actually not disrespectful to you. Now, if you say, well, I don't have to respect you, even though you're my dad, that doesn't mean I have to respect you. That's fine. That's fine. But if I respect you, I expect you to respect me. And if you're not going to respect me and it's because you don't have to respect me, well, guess what? There's so much that I don't have to do either. I'll take care of my children. I'll take care of my kids. I'll give them what they need. But if I'm not going to get the respect I deserve, and the reason is because I don't have to be respected just because I'm the dad, and I get that. But I'm a good I'm like I'm not an asshole to my kids. I try to be as kind as I can with them, and I know sometimes things can go a little wild or a little um, things can get a little rough. I try to maintain a certain line of that I won't cross, and getting physical with them is one that I want. I don't like. I don't want to hit them. I don't want to like. I don't want to do that. But if you're gonna say you don't have to respect me, even though I provide and even though I respect you, and then you're still gonna feel that you don't have to respect me, well, there's a lot that I don't have to do for you. I don't have to get you this freaking toy at the store. Why? It's not needed. Matter of fact, I don't even have to be here as a father. The only reason I'm here and I stay teaching my kids is because I have a personal idea of what it means to be responsible for what you do, like Jean-Paul Sartre speaks about, that you are responsible for everything you do. And the fact that our kids are here in existence is literally an effect of something that I did before. That's what it is. Therefore, I am responsible, or at least I find myself responsible to a certain extent for caring for my kids to a certain extent, right? But caring for them doesn't imply giving them, buying them cookies. You know, caring for them doesn't imply taking them to Dave and Buster's or that kind of stuff. Caring for them doesn't imply, you know, even like taking them to a park. Even it doesn't imply that. But caring for them might imply the actual needs. So if your child is going to tell you, "Why do I have to respect you? I don't have to," but you know you're doing good as a dad or as a mom, you can also say, "Well, you know what? I don't have to give you that either." And show them that if they keep behaving in such a way that, oh, because they feel that they don't have to do that, you also fall under the same idea. You yourself don't have to do anything for them. Now, hopefully, you're at least caring for your kids. Okay, I'm not suggesting that you don't care for your kids, um, but while you're doing that, talk to them about the reasons you're doing that. And it's because relationships are not one sided. They're not one sided. If there's two people and one person takes and takes and takes and takes and takes, but treats the person that gives in a very not cool way, the person that gives will one day not want to give. And that's the idea that you're trying to get across to them. And hold your ground. Hold that ground. Hold it. See, you're not hitting them. You're not, but through mere literally life examples or life situations, you teach them something. You teach them something. And you hold that ground. You hold that thought. If you say, okay, you're for a month, I'm not gonna do this so that he can see that this stuff and this stuff and this stuff and this stuff. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. That that is probably like uh, one of the best things you can do now, because you can't just talk to them and just like expect that just talking to them does it. Not with kids. With kids, it's like you talk to them and like the next day they might forget. So you have to do something that is sort of big, sort of drastic, that they can remember, and that after you explain to them, they don't just remember it as, oh, this happened, but this happened, and now I know why that was that way. But hold it. Hold that line. I've been going for 40 minutes, and unless there's that was a nice comment right there. My mom went through a heart. That I love to see that. I had a I have had a very terrible um, experience. Let's put it that way. With certain things, family. Like I said, one day I'll talk all about it. But I have had a pretty bad experience with family, and seeing comments like the one down here from Charlie, the links. I like it. I like it because even though the fact that you're a family doesn't mean you have to behave that way, or that it will go that way, when it does, I uh, I applaud it. Okay, I think that's awesome. I think it should be more like that. But the reality is that it's not always a fairy tale for everyone. So I'll leave you guys with that. Like I said, I went for 40 minutes. I was expecting to just do 30, but it is what it is. Sometimes we have more to say. Um, I've been really enjoying these lives. I've really been liking just getting in front of the camera and talking about something. I feel it more natural, more. yeah, I like it more. Um, and I'm gonna keep doing them, like I said. So if you guys are liking these lives, make sure you subscribe, give this a like as well. Honestly, it's gonna help this channel grow. We we're trying to double down on this a little bit more. So definitely, if you guys like this content, give it a like. There's gonna be more subjects coming up, and like I'm trying to be consistent with the recording and with. I got a bunch of things going on right now, but there are particular days that I'm trying to set so that I go live. And when I kind man, this thing keeps overheating, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut the video here. I was gonna cut it at 40, but yeah, like I said, uh, there's a lot going on. So I hope you guys are enjoying these lives. And I'll see you guys on the next live. And honestly, I'll say this: in this live, no one was disrespectful, and I appreciate that because my first live, there was some doofus just. I actually had to kick him out. But yeah, I don't want to do that to people. I don't want to have to kick you out. I'd rather you stay and we can have a good conversation. Okay, I'll see you guys on the next video. Like, subscribe, and I know it's hard. I know it's hard to, at the same time that you're being soft as a dude, that you keep a particular stance of hard. you know, it's hard. But there's a way. There's one way to still get the same point across to someone without actually being an asshole. So yeah.